Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Greta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Good morning and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Carol and I'm here with my co-hosts Greta, Kathleen, and of course the Realm of Beings. We would all like to invite you to extend an invitation to you to visit us on this 35th anniversary of the New Life Expo in New York City from October 19th to the 20th at the New York Bar Historical Building on 44th Street. Greta will be performing complimentary psychic readings as well as lectures and workshop. Kathy will deliver a lecture as well. And yours truly, moi, will be there to welcome you and say hi. So get your tickets online at newlife.expo.com. I'd like to give ourselves a happy anniversary. We're 4 years with our Transformation Network partners, and we're very happy to celebrate that 4 years. Of course, you can always experience Shifting Impressions and the latest news on the www.therealmofbeings.com, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, any of your favorite streaming platforms. We at Shifting Impressions are very happy to be here on Transformation Network each Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Listeners, if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us and being part of this experience. These conversations will help you to look at your life and your creation of reality, to see what you're creating, how it shows up, and how to help you gain perspective so you can learn how to shift what you are creating in order to create what you want. So welcome everyone to new listeners and viewers to this podcast. Each week, Greta shares with us a quote given to her from the Realm of Beings, which we first discuss with each other. And later on in the show, the Realm will join us to expand and give us more insight. This week, the quote that provided to us through Greta, again, we're speaking about health issues. It's a long one. Each health challenge that you call to yourself is attached to a reason, which is created from your thoughts and emotions.
Each one of these types of experiences is an opportunity for your growth in a particular lesson that you have chosen to explore. First, reach inside yourself to discover the cause and then seek the solution to the health challenge as you reach out to others to assist you in ameliorating it. Remember, go inward then outward and move with courage and determination to eradicate the particular actualization.
Thank you, Greta.
You're welcome, Carol.
I was missing a space between words and my eyes just got all googly. Anyway.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Look what you created, Carol.
I know, right? I created for Greta to do the intro is what I created.
Yeah, because you said you didn't want to practice. You were practicing the word ameliorating.
I was practicing the word ameliorated.
And you didn't have to read it.
I didn't have to read it, but I know I showed these last week and I really did not take into consideration. They would be more pertinent to this week's quote, but they are books about mental equivalencies. This one by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and the big one by Jacques Martel, the entire encyclopedia of ailments and diseases. And when I tell you, your body does not lie to you. Shakira said her hips didn't lie. Well, I'm telling you, your body doesn't lie, because whatever ailment you have, when you realize what the mental equivalency is and you work on that, it literally can be instantly healed, as it were. So there's a lot of truth in this about how you have to heal yourself from the inside, realize what your lesson is, practice learning it. I had an issue last week that came on suddenly. Greta helped me determine what the mental equivalency was, and the next day it was all better. Surprise. And this happens a lot for me. There are a lot of diseases I've experienced in the past that I no longer suffer from. And I use that word suffer because most of us, when we're experiencing these things, feel like it's suffering. It's usually something painful or uncomfortable. So if you want to be in perfect health, practice to be in perfect health. And with that, I'm going to see which one of my co-host ladies wants to speak first.
I'm going to say Kathy.
Happy. Yeah.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Oh, Kathy. I thought you said happy.
Kathleen. Kathleen.
Well, since our focus is on health this month, there is another person that I was trained with Greta. Well, the writings, I think his name is Emmett Fox. He came up with the concept of mental equivalencies. I think it's Emmett Fox, is it not? I think it was. He was a preacher, and it was a big eye opener for me because I met Dr. Chamberlain dealing with a lot of health challenges, and I was unaware that I created the health challenges, and I thought she was going to like do the little holy hand and it was going to go away. I didn't realize that I had to work on myself and go deeper into myself to find out why I was creating any of the physical or any other kind of challenges that I have created. And it has been a journey, and this is a selfish plug, but that is what I intend to talk about in New York, my journey towards understanding the reality that I create for myself, the realities, and how to uncreate them. And it is when you have those, I call them aha moments, and you have these little phases that you go through when you learn that you're creating your reality through, like if you have a cold, if you have high blood pressure, diabetes. I mean, once you understand some of the emotions and thoughts that trigger these, and it doesn't happen instantaneous. Some of them like happen like a cold you can catch, well, if you wish to, but it doesn't last. But you can catch a cold and really want to hold on to it, and it turns into pneumonia. In other words, you can really do a job on yourself when you can't let go. And Greta will, in the realm, will elaborate a little bit more on it on that. But you can start with the backache and then wind up with back surgery. So those are some of the things that I, from my level of understanding, dealing with health. And it's really a fascinating journey to go on. When you realize that you are creating your health challenges, you can do something about them. Like I said, I'm no longer on a walker. I'm seeing myself, and I say it every day, I'm in perfect health. And this morning, you're going to be proud of me because, Carol, this is your fault. You made me bring my bike from downstairs out of the basement, and I put it in front of the television, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do water aerobics today, but I'm going to ride this bike. It's something, well, the realm said, Kathy, go ride the bike. So I said, okay, I'm going to ride the bike. Got on the bike. It was 9:09, and I'm pedaling. I'm saying, gee, How come the clock still says 9:09? What is it going to say? 9:10. And I'm like, oh my God. They say keep like it hasn't even been a minute. And I'm like, oh God. It was the hardest thing for me to do. But I wound up doing 13 minutes. And I was so
Wow.
proud. I was proud of myself. But I'm gonna tell you something. That first 2 minutes, woo!
I know. I set a timer and I keep like going, all right, it's got to be, time has to be up now. And it's like only 5 minutes has passed. The other thing though, if you're doing something you enjoy, when I was able to do like the dancing and play tennis and things like that, time goes in like quickly because you're enjoying the activity, but you're still getting exercise.
And I
But
had to say I'm enjoying it. And I had to
that's
say
good.
I'm showing that I'm loving myself. I'm practicing loving myself. And then I said, keep practicing. And my body's going, and my eyes going, looking at the clock on the television. Come on, let's speed this up a little bit. I can love myself a lot faster than this. But in any event, that's my own.
That's funny.
I just want to, what I want to do, I want to hang on to what you guys have said. And I really want to emphasize those thoughts and emotions. Now, I want to take us back to the incarnate stage because when we make the decision of the parents that we choose our parents because they're going to facilitate lessons that we have chosen to learn. They're going to support us in that. So consequently, you can choose parents who are going to give you DNA, genes that support you in addiction, or give you genes that are going to support you being extremely angry person. But note, all of these are lessons. So now we've got these lessons. I've got a lesson. One of my lessons is diabetes. And I've had it since, let me not claim that. You see, but I said I have it, never claim it. So I'm correcting myself. Never claim it because it's really not there. That's the thing that is so difficult to believe or to accept because you're feeling every doggone thing about it. So when I'm sure the audience, when they hear us talk about that this is an illusion, it's not real, but you're going to say, I'm in pain. Don't tell me that, So, but the thing is, you want to hang on to the idea because it's a thought. You want to hang on to the idea regardless of what you created. You want to hang on to the idea that you are in perfect health because you really are. Because I always use my hands. I have my right hand is above my left hand. The right hand here, and for those of you who are only listening and can't see, my right hand is floating about 3 inches above my left hand, and they're in horizontal fashion. Now, the top hand is really expressing the illusion, the illusionary realities that we create. That's here. But the real reality, and some of you are finding it challenging to deal with this concept as well, but that's okay. We're going to keep saying it to you because the more we say it, the more you're going to take it in. But this level right here, that's you as the force. So you have illusion here and you have the force here that you are. And when you're the force here, there's no such thing as dis-ease for you to experience it like that. And I'll explain to you what the like that is. So that's why this is illusion. This is you as the force. So you want to focus. When you say I am in perfect health, I'm going to hold my hands up again. The one below my left hand, when you say I'm in perfect health, that's where you're at. You're here. When I claimed and I said I have diabetes, I was here in the illusion because I really don't have it. I'm temporarily experiencing it and working to get rid of it. Now, how did I get it in the first place? My mother used to always tell me she was experiencing diabetes. And she said, when I got to be in my 20s, only thing she could say to me was, you're diabetic, you're diabetic, you're diabetic. And I fought that like crazy. I am not going to be diabetic. And she would tell me, yes, you are. I remember I went into the hospital for a DNC or some type of minor operation. Not that operations are minor, but anyway. And I was in the hospital. She told me, she said, have them check because you have diabetes. So she kept trying to give it to me, and I was refusing it. I was just refusing it. And so let's go to another reality where Greta is now older. She's in her 30s. I've fighting for a school that I was teaching at to keep it alive and well. They wanted to close it down, and I kept seeing the parents crying because they couldn't believe what was happening because they loved the school. The children were crying because the community was asking them to leave because they felt that they were not deserving to be in a school like that, especially with the other children that they were going to bring from the neighborhood. And then we were going to court. So I was watching the staff cry because the staff was being criticized and said that they were not good teachers and etc. So everybody was sad around me. And I was going to meetings, I was going to court for the school. I had no thought ever that I was going down into deep sorrow because diabetes, mental equivalency, one of the mental equivalencies and a main one is sorrow, deep sorrow. So at the unconscious level, I was going into deep sorrow. Now, I left the school, it stayed alive. The children were able to stay there. Many of the teachers left. And I went to another school, and then I left there and went to another one. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and my feet were killing me. I said, my God, why did my feet hurt? So I went to the doctor, and my regular doctor was on vacation. So another doctor looked at me. She gave me some medicine, pain medicine to help me deal with the discomfort. And finally, my doctor came back, and I went to him. He said, "Oh, Greta, you have diabetes." I said, "I have diabetes." When he told me that, I want you to know, I left his office. I drove all the way back home. I walked through my back door. I sat at my kitchen table, put my head down on my kitchen table, and cried like a baby. I couldn't believe that I had created that. After all those years being told you are diabetic, and I was saying, no, I'm not. But then I went into that deep sorrow because of that situation at the unconscious level. Because who consciously says, give me something? Especially a disease. Who's going to ask for that? I didn't walk around and say, hey, I'm ready. Give me diabetes. Give me diabetes. I never did that. But I'm experiencing it. I'm still experiencing it. But I'm working to get myself away from it. But
You're
I
not on
had,
any needles. You were on needles, but now you're not, right? You're just
yeah, I was on insulin.
so
And
you're no longer on insulin. People
no,
need to know that.
right. And in fact, I was so deep into diabetes, the first insulin that they gave me didn't work. So they had to put me on a much stronger dosage of it. Not dosage, but another type of insulin. And I was giving myself a needle every day, you know. So I had to really come to terms with that. To
How did you,
say,
Greta? How did
huh?
you? How did you? Because Martell, there's 3 pages dealing with just diabetes.
Oh yeah.
Like it's because it's a national health epidemic, and it tells you the state of the. Actually, if we look outside where you're going with this, Carol and Greta, it's if huge swaths of the population have diabetes, that's telling you the mental health of the country, isn't it? I mean, when you
Well,
look at it
Yeah,
like sorrow, it's like, am I wrong?
absolutely.
Am I wrong?
no, we can say that because that's a major thing. And I'm
Mhm.
glad you brought up Martell, with with Louise Hay, she might give you just a phrase or a couple of phrases, but Martell goes into deep into the possible reasons for
Very
creating.
detailed, very
Yeah.
detailed.
Yeah. And see, another one of my issues is joy, because what counters deep sorrow but joy?
Joy,
Joy.
joy. Yeah.
So I have an issue with joy. That was one of the lessons that I chose. How do I know that? How do I know that? Because that's what I'm experiencing. I go into the lack of joy. So then that's how I know, uh-oh, that's my lesson. My lesson is to know that practice that at every part of my life that I am dealing with joy. I got to do that for myself. I've got to be joyful. And I have to practice that
And see,
because,
I've been, yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Kathy. What were
No,
you
because
going
I
to
was going
say?
to say, I have been practicing loving myself unconditionally. And like I said, getting on that bike, I said, you know what? You're still gonna practice loving yourself unconditionally. So ride the bike. Now you're gonna practice it by drinking your shake. Now you're gonna practice it by going to your water aerobics. Then you're gonna practice it by continuing to have a wonderful, joyful day. And you're going to practice loving yourself by saying, I'm experiencing joy. I'm experiencing creating and maintaining continuous joy within myself. Ah, what a wonderful world I live in. And so
Right,
that's what I have been focusing on. And
right.
and, and it's working. It's working for me.
Great. I think that's a key, and Greta brought that to point, that practice, and I mentioned earlier, you can't just say, okay, I know this is my lesson and poof, it's gone. It does take a lot of work. It does take a lot of practice. And Greta, perhaps you can share what other ways, like Kathy's been doing physical things that she knows are healthy for her and telling herself the affirmations about loving herself. What else could we do uh, to practice what we're trying to learn from a lesson regarding health?
Let's say one of the things is that I tell people write down 7 high vibrational emotions. In other words, those are extensions from unconditional love. That's what its extensions are. Write down 7 of them. Maybe for me, number 1 would probably be joy. Number 2, safe. I'm feeling safe. Unconditional love of self. You write down 7 of them, and then each day you practice one of them. Like that meant that all day, because joy is my first day. So all day long, I'm going to think about being joyful. I'm going to think about what do I need to do to bring more joy into my life? Does it mean I go out and buy a bunch of flowers and put them in my bedroom or just put them in my house? Does it mean that I want to go to a movie? Does it mean that I just want to sit and meditate on being joyful? What you want to do is find all kinds of ways and focus on joy. If the second word was peace, then all day long, 24/7, you're going to practice peace. What does peace look like for me? What do I have to do to bring peace to me? You know, it might be sitting and meditating and just listening to soft music. It might mean me sitting by myself and not with the family for a while, taking a break.
Turning off the news.
Right. So it's finding something that, and really practicing them. You know, it's like Kathy and Carol said, it's not going to poof, it's not going to go away. It doesn't do that, because look how long you practice to get it. Some of us have been practicing things. Look at my situation. My mother's been thinking I was a diabetic since I was a kid. You know, so that was in her mind. So she was without at the conscious level, but she was sending me that energy for that. And then finally, I accepted it. Because why? Because instead of remaining in an easeful situation, I went down and supported the people that I was working with deep sorrow. And that's what kicked it in.
Yep.
So
my mom, and my mom was, you know, a lot of the women on one side of the family, once they have their first child, they never get their weight off, and you look like you might be one of them. And I'm like, nope. And then look what I created. Yep. But I mean, you know, it's funny how it just embeds itself. Go ahead, Carol. You got to take us to break.
No, I was just going to say it's time for break soon, and I'm so interested to hear what the realm wants to say about this. Listeners, we are at that point where we're going to take a short break, and we're going to ask you to stick with us until we return. And when we do, Greta will be speaking for the realm, or the realm will be speaking through Greta. Let's word it that way. Again, thank you, and we'll see you in a moment. Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to Shifting Impressions. We're at that point in the podcast where we will hear from the realm and have them weigh in on the quotation they provided Greta this week that we've been discussing. The whole month is going to be dedicated to health, and I think that's very pertinent to everyone. And Realm, are you with us?
Yes.
Welcome and happy 4th anniversary, Realm. You know, it's our 4th anniversary for Shifting Impressions on Transformation Network.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being the main focus of this podcast. All right, Realm, I'm going to attempt the quote again that you gave this week. I stumbled earlier and Greta had to save me. So let's try it again. Each health challenge that you call to yourself is attached to a reason which is created from your thoughts and emotions. Therefore, each one of these types of experiences is an opportunity for your growth in a particular lesson that you have chosen to explore. First, reach inside yourself to discover the cause, and then seek the solution to the health challenge as you reach out to others to assist you in ameliorating it. Remember, go inward, then outward, and move with courage and determination to eradicate the particular actualization. Realm, what would you like to tell us in addition to that?
I think we want to talk about inward and movement outward, because most of the time, many people, when they have a dis-ease, as you call it, look at the dis-ease. They focus on it, you see. And then sometimes, depending on what it is, it can be frightening, scary. You wonder if you will live through it, you see. So with those thoughts and the emotion of, am I going to survive? How will I get through this? Then you're reaching outward. You want to first go inward. And when you go inward, the question is, it becomes, you already know how, because you can see it. You're going through it. You've gone to the doctor. The doctor says, you have da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And this is what you must do to get rid of it, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Or sometimes they'll tell you, you only have 3 months left. You see, that's outward.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to deal with is inward. Why? I'm going to say it again. That outside is the how. You first want to deal with why. That's why the program is focusing on mental equivalencies, because the mental equivalencies provide you with the why. And once you read it and you find something that fits you, then explore that inside of you. How? How did I do this inside of me? What did I experience that this dis-ease is supporting me in? You see, the dis-ease itself is supporting you in a lesson that you have chosen. It is also supporting you in your thoughts, which created it in the first place.
Realm, was that on an unconscious level, though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Carol, you've never heard of anybody say, give me diabetes, give
Of
me
course not.
leukemia, break my leg.
Of course not.
You've never heard of anybody say any of that. And that's because there's a communication at the unconscious level, which also is an aspect of the force. So it knows everything.
So this is a good way to know what the unconscious is doing by having the equivalent of a physical disorder of some sort. It gives you insight to what the unconscious is thinking.
Absolutely. That's how you know.
Okay.
You know that. That's how you know. Some people would say you'll never know what your unconscious is thinking. Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is look around and see what you created. What you created. If you are in a family where you're constantly arguing with each other, there you go. You know. So the thing is with disease, regardless, the disease can be a spiritual one. It can be a physical one. It can be a mental one. It can be a psychological one. Those are all diseases. A person is not experiencing schizophrenia for no reason. They have chosen the how of their lesson, which is their how is schizophrenia. Greta's lesson is joylessness. Stop being joyless and fill your life with joy. So what is supporting her in being joyless? Diabetes.
Her diabetes.
So you see, it's nothing. They're only these physical ailments that we buy into are just illusions to support us in lessons that we have chosen. But I want to say this. I don't want the audience to think that this is a Pollyanna treatment of it. Because some of the diseases that people have chosen can be very challenging. But why would you choose a challenging disease? Why would you do that in the first place? Because it's a lesson that you've chosen, and now you are coming to it. You want to test yourself. That's all you're doing, is testing yourselves. You're testing, how strong am I? Am I strong enough to overcome this? Yes, you are. But then there's a doubt that comes into us that, well, maybe I'm not strong enough. And then what happens? Then the doggone disease becomes even more prevalent within your body or more prevalent in your experiences because you begin to doubt yourself. Now, I also want to say that we're not talking about you sitting down and doing nothing and saying, this will go away. We're not saying that at all. You're going to work with yourself on the internal, but simultaneously, after you understand why you've created it in the first place, then you want to work on the outside, which means now, how am I going to get rid of this disease? Am I going to take supplements? Am I going to go to an allopathic doctor? Am I going to go to a doctor of Oriental medicine? Am I going to go to an acupuncturist? Am I going to go do radionics? You see, all of those things are methods of choice. Regardless of what method you choose, as the method that Kathy and Greta does, transformational energy science, that works as well. But the thing is, it's all up to you. You see, there are no healers in this world.
Thank you.
There are no healers in this reality. Some people think they're a healer. What do? I'm a healer. A healer of what? A healer of people. How can you be a healer of people when each person creates their own reality? What the person is doing that thinks they're a healer is really giving you support. We have talked about this: create, support, create. We have talked about that. So the only thing, so I'm going to reiterate, I'm going to stop that thought and say, nobody can ever do anything to you. Nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can fire you, and nobody can heal you. You have to heal yourself.
Yeah.
And when you start to heal yourself, you start again. I'm saying it again. You start from the inside to say, why did I create this? And then you go to the outside. What am I going to do? If you have cancer, am I going to take chemotherapy? Am I going to take radiation? Am I just going to deal with it naturally? But the other thing is move without fear. I don't care what dis-ease you have chosen. Move without fear. Move without fear. Know that you are strong. Know that really at another level you are in perfect health. That's why Greta did that with her 2 hands, you see. Note that you are the force. Note that you are the commander of your health. Note that. Note you are in charge of either continuing the disease or getting rid of it. There are many people out there in this world that have healed themselves from things that you would think you can't heal yourself from because you've been told that. You can't heal from this. It's just something you just got to deal with for the rest of your life. That is not true of any disease because you created the dis-ease in the first place. So if you created the dis-ease, then you can uncreate it. But you've got to find the way.
What is the way?
The way that you choose, that you believe in.
Oh, okay.
Some people believe in, to eradicate cancer, I must do chemotherapy, I must do this, I must take Lupron, I must do radiation treatments. Yes, but at the same token, you're doing that, but then you can say, but I'm taking these supplements as well to build my body up. I'm doing supplements that are getting rid of the inflammation in my body so that I can be successful at eradicating this dis-ease.
Right, because what you're saying, if I'm gathering correctly, is that as you think, so you are. So if you
Absolutely.
think, so that's, so if you think prayer is along with all of those is part of your regimen, then do it. If you think meditation, fine. So in other words, as long as you believe it.
Absolutely.
As long as you believe it, you can see it.
Absolutely.
But it comes from within.
Because you must choose the method of getting rid of the disease by way, in fact, you're going to do it by way of your belief system. If you believe in prayer, then you're going to be praying. If you believe that God is outside of you, that the force is outside of you, then you're going to request, help me get better. and you're going to go to the type of clergyman that you go to the synagogue or whatever. Or you're going to be of indigenous peoples, so you're going to go to your shaman. You see, the thing is, after you know you've gone inward and you're going outward, the outward is going to have a myriad of abilities and choices to make. And it's okay. You can conquer your dis-ease as long as you believe that you can conquer it.
So, Realm, if cancer is caused by little hurts, just generally little hurts, what you're saying is we need to look inward and uncover what those little hurts are, the times that you felt that you were hurt and could not let it go, whether it's from childhood, which is usually where it starts, all the way up through the present moment where you are, because all of that supports you in healing yourself. And even when people work with us, we're just, we like you said, we don't heal, but we support people who are actively working on understanding that they are in charge of their health. They are in charge, along with the other, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, modalities that they choose to believe in and function within in order to cure themselves.
Absolutely. Because you see, this is what happens. It's a twofold method. Find out why you created it. That's important. If you don't understand why and start to deal with yourself mentally, spiritually, psychologically, why you created this, then sure, you're going to say, I want to get rid of this disease. So you get rid of it. But guess what?
It'll come back.
You still have the inward part that has not been addressed. So consequently, you will see, let's give cancer as an example. You will see people would get over cancer and they said, yes, I've been spared. And then 2-3 years later, down the line, they have it again. And the reason why they have it again is because they missed part 1. They skipped over part 1 and went to part 2. Part 1 is where you reflect inside yourself to say, why did I create this in the first place? And then deal with it.
That's the
that
root
can be
cause,
challenging.
basically, right?
Right. And that's what Carol talks about too. That's part of the challenge, doing that inward work.
And discovering.
It's unpacking it.
I have a question, Realm, because this was something that I found out about myself through mental equivalency that I didn't, at least on a conscious level, think about. It turned out that I always considered myself to be very flexible and very adaptable. And I ended up developing arthritis in my knees, or I ended up choosing to experience arthritis in my knees. And part of the mental equivalency there is not being flexible and not moving forward. So it was something that I discovered about myself because I didn't even think or entertain a thought that that was any part of me. So now I work on correcting that first, in addition to other treatments and exercises, et cetera, et cetera. So you can learn about your unconscious and about your body will tell you things about yourself that you might not even be privy to. You might not even know to look for that as a why. I know in my case I didn't, but as it turned out, your body doesn't lie. Just like Shakira's hips didn't lie, your body doesn't lie.
But I like the way you say that, Carol. Your body doesn't lie, and that's the truth. And that's the truth. That we should put that on a T-shirt and sell it on a bumper sticker. Your body doesn't lie, and that's the truth. It doesn't lie. And when I looked at some
Absolutely.
of my physical challenges with the back surgery and everything, when I looked at the mental equivalencies, like I was instructed to do with through Greta and the realm of beings, it was like, oh my God, that is describing me. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, that's right. Oh, gee, oh, I did think that. Okay, and just the some of the other, like my gallbladder. Oh, okay. Well, that explains it. So uh, once you look inward, like the realm says, and like we're taught, and like we teach the participants that we work with, look inward. And when they look inward and they unpack the emotions and the thoughts that supported them in creating to temporarily experience the illness, then it could be it's not it's it sometimes it can be a extreme temporary challenge for people,
Mm-hmm.
and some people just don't want to do it. They can't handle it, but they hold on to it, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to decide you don't want to hold on to it. Do you want to hold on to that? Do you want to hold on to being on um the lower vibrational part of you, or do you want to step over that and just leapfrog and just focus on the high part, the high positive side? In other words, do you want to be joyful or sad? I've decided I like the way that joy feels. I don't have to feel sad if I choose not to. If I want to feel hopeful, I'll be hopeful. I don't have to be depressed. And that's just where I am right now.
That's good, Kathleen.
Yes, definitely.
That's definitely good. But like you said, some people are afraid to do that. They're afraid to do that. With that, we would say seek out a therapist, seek out someone who can assist you in dealing with the health challenge from a psychological perspective, mental perspective, to assist you going into self. Don't have fear of seeking help. Don't ever have fear of that. And don't claim these interesting diseases to be yours. They don't have to be yours. They're not yours in the first place. You're just temporarily experiencing them. So don't claim them and say, my cancer, my diabetes, my.
And you know what? And you
Get
know what,
out of
Rue?
that habit.
Yeah.
Don't claim those things.
I agree. But my question, Realm, and I know Carol will back me up, and Greta, when she wakes up from you, well, not wakes up, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you watch the television commercials, and they have these young kids up there saying, I have this, and it came back, I have this. How do you work with children? How does a parent work with a child that is experiencing a cancer, a temporary cancer situation, or childhood diabetes, if they don't know that they are creating the disease? And if it's a child that's a year old, people have a hard time understanding that and wrapping their head around that. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get to that, flesh that out next week, because next week is Stop Sabotaging Your Health. Begin to surround yourself with the energy of self-love. If you find this concept debilitating to your nature, then you are solidifying lack of love of self. Consequently, you are supporting the actualization of experiences, which will definitely test your fortitude, provide you with realities that can test your entire being. So I don't think we have enough time for the realm to even answer that question, but it's just food for thought, even for next week.
I'd
Kathy,
like to say
why
something,
don't you hold that question and we can proceed?
Carol, I would like to say something before I leave.
Certainly, of course, Realm.
I would like to say this. To Kathy's question, how does a parent work with a child? The parent can't work with the child about creation of reality until the parent understands that.
Mm-hmm.
You see. And right now, we're just expressing, even though the creation of reality has been around for eons, but yet it's not fully accepted because of the ostrich method. And what is the ostrich method? Is when you stick your head in the ground so you don't have to deal with your situation. And with that, I bid adieu.
Thank you so much, Realm. Thank you also to Kathleen, Greta, the Transformation Network, and most of all, listeners, thank you. We ask you to look us up and follow us on your favorite streaming platform. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We have the realmofbeings.com website, and you can always review our quotes through Instagram and Facebook. Again, listeners, thank you for joining us, and until we create each other again, have a great week.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the Realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.